try to make sense out of nonsense. And today is Wednesday, and it's around 4:22. I don't know what you're doing around 4:22. What do you do at 4:22? Maybe you're in traffic. Who knows? Maybe you're at home. Maybe you played hooky, calling in talking about. I ain't gonna be able to make it today, boss. I got the sniffles. I got the sniffles. Yeah, and then decide to just go ahead and cozy up and watch Kevin from Kevin's Corner. I don't care. I don't care where you watching me from or how you watching me. I just want you watching me. So with that being said, hopefully you got a notification. And while I'm waiting, I'm going to make sure I got a notification. Check all of my equipment. You got the sound. Let me see. You got the lighting. Okay, everything's good. We got the dog sleeping. By the way, the dogs are going to get haircuts on Friday, so they will be able to be presentable. So you'll be able to see them. Now I see people logging in. See Devin. Yeah, people. Oh, I see some hand clapping. Gorilla Nation. That's right. Real gorillas. You see the gorilla on the chest. You see the gorilla on the chest. That's right. Yeah. And let me check, make sure notifications have gone out even to myself. So once I do that, I will go ahead and get busy. So now let me see here. Yeah, looks like I got one. So now if you could start off by hitting that like button, and we can get that out the way. Don't forget that number on the screen, 330-974-4607 is the number you could text MAGA to just in case they disappear me off the internets and stuff like that. Other than that, let's go ahead and get loose so I can get busy. What? Word. Real gorilla. Real gorilla. Real gorilla. Listen to the building. Gorillas in here. Gorillas in here. Gorillas in here. Mary from Idaho. Oh, Mary, don't you weep. Yeah, buddy. I'm assuming you're the Mary that I always sing to and the one that sends me blessings. I appreciate it. Definitely. So, all of the people watching the show today, welcome to the show. We got a packed one for you today. Two major issues is to deal with. All right. But first, we got to deal with the fact that I got a Kevin's Corner store that you can shop and get yourself some merchandise from. Mix and match, put whatever logos on any of the products you want, all that good old stuff. And you already saw the number on the screen. If you want to support the channel, though, in other ways, you can do it through my Cash App, my PayPal link. Links are below. And don't forget, hit the like, subscribe. Make sure your notifications are turned on to all. Make sure you still subscribe because you got to double check with these folks. You got to double check with these folks. So I just got to go over that stuff every single time that we get together. Now, with that being said, y'all, we got us an enemy on our hands, y'all. Oh, yeah. And I ain't talking about Iran. I ain't talking about China. I ain't talking about Mother Russia, North Korea, and all of that stuff. We already know about them. See, those are the enemies that you can see. It's the ones you can't see. That's the scary ones. The ones that are right behind you. The ones that's in your crew, whispering in your ear. Or in your own country and telling you what they're going to do. More of a threat to you, the administration, to us, the MAGA movement, than Russia or Iran. See, and I'm talking about these crazy Democrats and these Democrat socialists. So let's see how liberals feel about what's going to happen if they take back the House and they take back the Senate. See, because Hawker Jeffries made the mistake of meeting with Jared Kushner and they got wind of it. And then we get to find out how they really feel about MAGA, how they really feel about Trump, Jared Kushner, the administration, and their intentions if they were to win back the House and the Senate. Purely just straight up, truly dictatorship that they accuse Trump of being. So let's get into it.
These are evil people.
Yes,
These
they
are sick,
starting with this guy.
People.
Listen to this.
And then there's somebody who is just a pain in the ass. And that will be Donald J. Trump.
Oh.
No, he's the devil. He's the devil. All right, well.
He's the devil. See how they got their folks convinced? So this guy out there virtue signaling, trying to win some props with the crazy radical folks. Now you wonder why their voters get to the point where they are trying to take Trump out. They're trying to take our leadership out when they're attacking folks and doing all this stuff. When you get up there and you talk about Trump's a pain in the butt, and then they yell out, he's the devil, and instead you say, now come on, guys, come on, easy. You go, he's the devil. You see that? I mean, you don't think that leads to crazy folks doing crazy things? What else he got to say about Trump?
Evidence to that effect.
I hate that man.
I hate that man. Y'all hear that? These are Americans. I hate that man. Let's see how he checks this.
And we have someone here who hates that man, too.
And we have someone here that hates that man, too, with a big old chessy cat grin. Instead of saying, hey, this is America. We're all Americans. We don't hate anybody. As much as I despise the Democrat Party, I do everything I can to not let it bubble over into hate. You know, I mean, I try to keep it in perspective. It's evil. You know what I'm saying? It's corrupt. I do despise them. I strongly dislike them. But I don't want to let hate bubble up into my heart, because see, when hate takes place, you're liable to do anything. When you're looking at somebody with the hateful eye, you're going, man, if I get a chance, I'm going to do something horrible to them. I'm blinded by this mess. See, that is why we don't go off doing crazy things. And I still haven't figured out how to delete all this stuff off my disk. I've been trying. So we're just going to have to bear with this. Now, all right, let's continue though. All right, what else he got to say about Trump?
That's how do. I agree.
And we got people agreeing. There seems to be agreement here. Well, there should be.
But do you agree? That's my question, mister. Do you agree? Are you okay with folks in your audience saying, I hate that guy, calling him the devil? Do you agree? That's my question. Why aren't you checking this and saying, easy, easy? We don't want, because see, that type of language might make me think you're willing to do something drastic if I let you running around thinking Trump's the devil. Yeah, saying stuff like, I hate that guy, and I'm just a snickering.
Agreement, because the man himself is the embodiment of hate. He is the embodiment of ignorance. He is the embodiment of depriving people of their vote and their education.
Now see, there you go. He is the embodiment of hate. So it's not you folks that hate him and all of us. It's Trump who is the embodiment of hate. He's the embodiment of trying to deprive you of all of your ability to vote. See, this is the propaganda. This is the stuff that divides the country. These are the true enemies of our country. And unfortunately, the divide is probably irreversible. I mean, especially with these current people who suffer from TDS, the current people who have been subjected to this type of manipulation, this type of propaganda, this type of Marxist conflict theory. They're so far gone. Do you think they're going to one day look at conservatives, look at MAGA voters and stuff like that as their countrymen? Or are they going to always be walking around going, see, we got they think that we're the enemy within. They have no idea that they're being programmed to become the enemy of the country, tearing the country apart by bums like this. Instead of making rational arguments or whatever, talking about policies, he comes out talking about Trump's the embodiment of all these evil things. Now you'll wonder why these folks call him Hitler, Nancy. We got to stop him.
That's who he is.
That's who he is.
So I want you to think forward, because there is a beautiful time coming. There is a beautiful time coming. This memorial will be here. The educational content will be here. People will be coming to see it, not for a year or two, or not even 20 years. They will be coming to see it as long as this federal park is here. So
now they're hating on the ballroom. He's talking about the ballroom, y'all. And he's talking about this is going to be here. Now listen to what he says he's going to do to the ballroom. Y'all ready for this? See, anything that Trump does that might allow folks to remember him, have his name on it, we got to tear that down. We want no resemblance of Trump anywhere. Yeah, he was such a pain in our butt. We don't want society or history or America to even remember he existed. You think if we take over the White House, we want to be going in there looking at that beautiful ballroom, that Trump ballroom? What the? Again, what is going on here? Let me double check my cord, make sure it's plugged in tight. Okay, I guess that's it. So anyway, you think that's what they want? Nope. Nah, these folks right here. There we go. Make sure that doesn't move. Yeah, technology, man. So these folks right here want to erase Trump from the history books. If it was up to them, they would go ahead and rewrite history and write Trump as the modern day Hitler that tried to overthrow the whole country. Thank God he won the second time, because they would have sure enough had him listed as an insurrectionist, traitor to the country, a jailed president, all of this stuff. So look how far he goes and says what's going to happen to the ballroom, y'all.
Let me tell you what will not be here.
What?
There will not be a ballroom. There will not be a ballroom.
Why
There
not?
will not be a Kennedy Center renamed for a fool. That will not be happening.
For a fool.
What is going to be happening is in about 10 or 15 years, we are all going to be sitting here with smiles on our faces because we, thanks to Michael and all of you, will have won. They will have lost. And I'm going
Now, you sure about that? Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that? That's my question. Because, see, like always, Trump seems to outsmart them in every end. Now, if they lose again, they're going to be sorry. If that ballroom goes up, I wonder what they're going to do to it. I mean, here you'll have a beautiful, functioning ballroom, but this guy is claiming that he's going to do what to that ballroom?
I'm going to have a paperweight sitting on my desk. You know what that paperweight's going to be? It's going to be a piece of the ballroom after we all blow it up.
What?
That's what it's going to be.
Bruh's right. Blow it up.
You gonna arrest his ass?
In an official ceremony, just so we're clear.
Just so
In
we're
an
clear.
official ceremony, we're going to blow it up, and we're going to give the taxpayers their money back by selling all the pieces as paperweights, and I will have one on my desk.
Now, do you think that's what they are going to really do? Blow it up, sell these as paperweights, get the people their money back? No, they're not. First of all, it's not even being paid for by the people. It's private. But here's this guy talking about blowing it up. Now, you see the rhetoric that they push? You see the stupidity that people cheer on? I wonder how big that crowd is right there listening to this fool. See, but remember, the more Trump deranged, the better. The more radical and crazy you sound, the better to crazy liberals. See, so they're like, yeah, darn right. I can see it in my head. Just like Independence Day. Whole thing, just blow it up and start giving out chunks of it and all of that stuff. Forget the fact that it might be beautiful, paid up, functional, all of that stuff. Forget that. If Trump's name is attached to it, we don't care. We don't want to see anything resembling Trump. Now, this is how crazy our country has become. This guy right here does not even take in consideration all of the millions of Americans that actually love and support the president. He's talking as if he's speaking for the whole country. See, that's what they do. They get up there and they talk about the president and all the evils and stuff like that, as if everybody thinks this way. Everybody thinks this way. But when I hear these type of folks, it only encourages me to say, we can never let these folks seize power again, ever. Ever, ever, ever. I don't want them sniffing around power. I don't want them looking at power from a distance. I want them so far away from power that they can't see it. They don't remember what it looks like. They don't know where to find it. I know power exists somewhere, but shoot, man, we have nowhere to start to look at. We don't even know where to start looking. So you think that's bad, though? You think that's bad? Listen to the rest of these Democrats.
Yes.
Who are these sick people?
Exactly.
There was a private meeting recently between the president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, and House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries. I think we would file this under back channel, would we not?
I don't think they'd be meeting major if the president didn't know about it. And CBS News has learned that the two talked about a range of issues, including areas of possible common ground. Now, Kushner and Jeffries actually worked together during the first Trump administration on criminal justice reform. But major, timing is everything. And the reason this meeting drew so much attention is because the midterm elections are just 70 days away, and there's a real possibility that Democrats could take control of the House. If that happens, Jeffries is poised to become Speaker of the House, who will be critical if President Trump wants to pass any new legislation.
Nah. See, because those radical socialists and all of those folks are not going to let him become the Speaker of the House. Yeah, all of the crazy radical voters that they've emboldened, he's too moderate for him. Yeah, they want some more radical folks running the Democrat Party, and the Democrat socialists definitely don't want this dude in. So now he has a meeting with Jared Kushner, and his folks are mad about it because, see, this is what they want to see come out of the Democrat Party if they win. Now, this is the very reason, though, why we can't let them win, because we're dealing with the enemy within our country when they want to return this type of revenge for nothing against the president and everybody associated with him. So now they think that the president and all of them meeting with Jeffries because they scared that we might lose, y'all. Could it be they're giving Jeffries a chance? Could it be they feel we're going to win and they're saying, you know what? Now, most likely we're going to win. And you have a problem in your party with a whole bunch of crazy socialists that you need to deal with. Okay. Now we can help you deal with this. Okay. Or we can go ahead and win and run all over you. Who knows what that meeting was about? But according to them, we're getting ready. We're bracing for impact. So Jeffries have to come out and explain to his radical base that, man, I might have met with him, but man, hey, look, watch what I'm going to do to them. Watch what I'm going to do to them.
Now, the current speaker, Mike Johnson, downplayed the meeting, saying Kushner is not directly involved in the administration, but we know he is someone Trump deploys when diplomacy and perhaps more importantly, deals are the end goal.
Just finishing my live shot here at the White House, and remember a few days ago when I told you that I had a source confirming that Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries met with Jared Kushner, the president's son-in-law, one-on-one privately. This was a broad conversation, but one focus was trying to see any potential areas of common ground. Well, that did not go over well in some Democrat and Republican circles, and clearly Jeffries heard that because he posted this.
Yeah. Now, see, this is why I always say you cannot negotiate with Democrats, whether they be regular so-called Democrats or the DSA Democrats. You can't negotiate with them. If you can't negotiate with the so-called traditional Democrats, how in the heck you think you're going to negotiate with radical, dang on Democrat socialists? How do you think you're going to be able to negotiate with them? Hawker Jeffries can't even negotiate with them. So they never come to negotiate in good faith. They're constantly looking for ways to make you look bad so they can acquire power. Yeah, they're constantly looking to go too far. They can't let you have success because then that will highlight their lack of success. They don't want to ever look bad, so they'll never, agree to something that will make you look good. I don't care how great the policy is. And it's never in good faith. If they come to you and say, look, we want to negotiate and talk about, the border situation, their end game. Their end game is going to be, we want amnesty for all of these folks. We want open borders. We want folks to be able to ask for asylum for any old and every old reason. We want to shackle ICE so they can't do anything to get rid of these people. Yeah, that's where they're going. If they start talking about, we want to talk about gun legislation, it's just modern, what I'm saying? Just common sense. Common sense, that's all. I'm saying I can never negotiate with you. That's like negotiating with the devil. His end game. It's never to give you some type of equal, share, equal say, equal, access to whatever. I don't care what he says up front. I'm always going, Just the fact that I'm negotiating with you and I know your nature. I know that whatever you tell me is just something to get your foot in the door so that you can go ahead and destroy everything. I know it. So negotiating with them is stupid. Never negotiate with these folks. But if you don't believe me, listen to what they're saying about us.
I'm going to give you a little real talk from Jared Kushner.
Little real talk. Look at him in the ghetto, y'all, with that oversized hat. Looked like he got a soup bowl on top of his head. But remember, though, he in the hood, so he want to make sure he connect with the brothers and the sisters. How about you get a fitted? Get yourself a fitted. What's wrong with you? I shouldn't be able to rub my whole fist around the rim of your forehead and the inside of that hat. Gotta be kidding me. But let's go ahead and hear what he's saying, trying to beg and plead that the people don't get mad at him just because he had a meeting. As if you could run the government without dealing with the other side. Now, if you got all of the chips, if you got all the cards, that's why we have to win big. Then you can run the government without having to deal with these fools. Because if we have to rely on them, we're going to get what we got the first 2 years, which is pretty much nothing or a lot of executive orders that can be reversed. But imagine if it's reversed and they win the House and the Senate.
Situation. He asked for a meeting, and I took it to discuss the affordability crisis that exists. That is not a hoax. At the same period of time, I shouldn't have to say it, but I am.
Here we go.
No one is going to get a pass.
No one is going to get a pass. Now, you already know what that is. That's him virtue signaling to all of his radical base that, hey, soon as we get power, we are going to launch nothing but investigations, trials, hearings. We ain't gonna get nothing done. Because remember, all of this time they've been chasing Trump around, having their little marches and all of their little stunts and stuff. They're yet to present any alternative to what Trump and them are doing. They're yet to present anything that would offset their last 4 years that they were in office. That would make me think, oh, now, shoot, they done went back to the drawing board and they come up with some good stuff. They have nothing to offer, but we hate Trump and we're going to go after him. So basically, the next 2 years, you'll get nothing. And that'll tick everybody off. And then they'll vote for the conservatives again. And you'll get nothing but more anger and protests again. Or even worse, if we don't stop these fools and they change the legislation for voting to where they can rig it and they win in 2028, then it's all over with. Now we have to resort to doing something crazy. We don't want to do that. But here we go. This is how their voters feel about it.
Why the hell is Hakeem Jeffries meeting with Jared Kushner to apparently discuss areas of common interest? Listen, Democrats, the only thing they need to say to any Republican, especially someone like Kushner who is engaged in all kinds of different criminal activity.
All kind of criminal activity, says this bum, says this guy. See, this is the stuff that liberals convince themselves of because they hear it coming out of Democrats. This is the most corrupt the administration of our lifetime. We want to know what Kushner is up to. We want to know what the Trump administration and all his kids are doing. So when you start dropping those type of lies, no evidence, no proof, this guy can't even tell you the corrupt stuff, the criminal activity that Jared Kushner's involved with. He strikes me as a guy that would cover his bases when it comes down to doing things on the up and up. He strikes me as a guy that would talk to, counsel first before he says, is it okay for me to do this? But Hunter doesn't strike me as that kind of guy. Nah. Joe Biden doesn't strike me as that kind of guy. Why weren't they so concerned about all of the corruption that the kids are involved in under the Biden administration? But now here he goes, just throws it out there. So you know what that means? This is what they want. Now, do you think these folks want to unite the country? They want to go right back to what we were doing before. Let's go right back to going after Trump and using lawfare.
Under Trump is, look, you're going to get in a lot of trouble. Take the subpoena, sit down, and wait your turn to get your ass investigated.
Oh,
that's it.
That's what we're going to get.
There's no negotiating. There's no talking. We take the majority. We're going to own them. It is not enough to sit there and say, oh, we're going to work with the Republican Party because now we're in the majority. No. The Republican Party needs to be destroyed.
Destroyed. So now what is that? That's our enemy, guys. I hate to say it. When I hear folks talking like that, now granted, I want the Democrat Party to be destroyed, but that doesn't mean I want them thrown in jail for no reason, without no evidence. I want them voted out because folks come to the conclusion that they're a corrupt party, they mean us no well, they're anti-American, and all of that stuff. These folks are vicious. These folks is like, man, we don't need no evidence. We don't need no predicate. You think big ankles, big knuckles, Queen Latifah made up stuff? Well, we will accept the lawfare that the Democrats use against Trump, against anybody in his cabinet, against anybody that voted for him. We'll accept that because we don't need any proof. We are so upset that Trump won. We want to go after these folks so badly. Anything they tell us that Trump did, Trump's people did, we'll believe it. I don't care how crazy it sounds. I don't care if they show no evidence like they did going after Trump. And then they wonder why we voted for Trump. Because we knew all of that made up evidence that they used to go after him was made up. See, but they were able to do that because they didn't have to worry. They knew that these idiots right here would believe it. They were all running around. Trump broke all those laws. I mean, he's a 30-something convicted felon. And I'm going, what did he do? All kind of stuff. And then just like he was a Russian agent. Yeah, he was a Russian agent. Did you know Hillary made that up? Came up with the dossier. Man, look, the Russians, hey, you can't tell me the Russians didn't help him. And I'm saying, see, they got you exactly where they want you. Now, can we live with folks like this who want this type of retaliation for no reason? I mean, can we have peace in our country? Can we repair it? Do you think these people are going to be satisfied if the Democrats get in and don't do what they want them to do, which is simply go after Trump and all the MAGA folks. That's it. They don't care if they make sure they fix the economy, the border. All they want is blood, which makes me say, you know what? You guys sound dangerous. You guys sound like an angry mob that's cool with any type of vigilante justice with no evidence. You guys sound like the type of people that will come after conservatives like me if you had power. Yeah, y'all will go ahead and agree and sanction that mess through our government. You guys would support, laugh, and encourage lawfare. Y'all would encourage the deep state to come after us. Y'all would encourage us being censored off the internet. You guys want to see us punished because y'all don't see us as Americans, thanks to the Democrats. Y'all see us as fascists, white supremacists, sellouts, all of that. What else?
And cease to exist.
In the opinion of every Democrat in the United States, progressive, moderate, middle of the road,
y'all see the Crip?
We believe one thing above all. These people are a pack of felons and traitors.
Felons and traitors. Now y'all see the Crip? That's the one thing they believe. Now you want to talk about ticking off the whole half the country, over half the country. You are running around and you're saying y'all shouldn't even be talking to Republicans because, see, we've gotten to the point where we're so divided that these folks are pretty much the enemy. Y'all shouldn't even be having a conversation with them. Only way we see them is felons and traitors. That's it. That means that we are going to make up whatever rules, whatever, violations that we think that they violated. We're going to make that up. And we're going to go after them for treason, which all of us conservatives are going to see that and get mad and say, you're going after our people, our fellow patriots, our duly elected president and all of his cabinet. You're going after him again. Y'all are not learning. You're not learning. See, we took it the first time because we were going, if we could just make it through these 4 years, just so we can make it through, we can go ahead, vote these crazy, radical, evil folks out. But if they mess around and get back in and run it back, I don't know if we'll be so tolerant for another 4 years of this type of nonsense. But let's go ahead and hear what he's encouraging the Democrats to do.
And you do not meet with them. There's only one thing you can do with people that you genuinely believe deep inside of every fabric of your body are a pack of thieves and a pack of traitors. What? That's what we believe. So you meet with Jared Kushner, we need to drag his ass before a committee and find out what backdoor dealing whorehouse shit he's got going on with Steve Witkoff and everybody else. We're not going to be nice to you. We don't like you, these people. Saying, I'm taking a meeting with them, and people out there knocking on doors, can't sleep at night, staying up in angst, worrying about what the hell is going to happen in the country, $40 trillion in debt, idiotic war, we're getting the shit kicked out of us.
Are we? Now you hear this old geezer? Now he's talking about, you know what? You can't meet with these people. You can't talk to these people. So what? We don't have a country that allows that type of dialogue. We're at the point now where our duly elected president. See, what they're failing to realize is that they're not just talking about Trump and his cabinet. They're forgetting, how did Trump get in office? They're forgetting that Trump have millions of folks who love him and would be very upset to see you guys go after him because it's like you're going after us. See, that's how we felt when you went after him the first time. The last 4 years of Biden, whole time y'all going after Trump, I felt like you were going after me because this was my guy that I was supporting and you guys were trying to remove my ability to support him. And I saw it. I'm going, what, you trying to get him off the ballot? What, you trying to throw him in jail? What, you trying to take his businesses? What, you trying to... Y'all are bending laws so y'all can go after him. But really what y'all were doing also was going after us. Let's make an example out of him and anybody else that supported him. So now, this guy is saying we can't even talk to them. Now, what does that make me feel like? Make me feel like there's no hope when it comes down to uniting with these people. It makes me feel like it's desperate times for us to make sure that we win in November. Because if we don't, this is the approach that these folks have. Trump has rightfully, the DOJ has gone after folks that we know are obviously corrupt. But what he's not doing is saying, let's blanketly go after all the Democrats. Let's blanketly go after, all these folks that We have no evidence that they did anything wrong. I mean, if anybody, we should have suspicions about Nancy Pelosi, Rouhani, a lot of these Democrats who somehow made all this money, but you don't see the DOJ just blankly going after them. But these folks are saying, we hate these people. We despise them. They're traitors. They're all corrupt. We have no evidence. But what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and make it up as we go. And either way you cut it, we're punishing them. We're coming after them. Now, you don't think that all of us voters are going to sit back and go, well, it is what it is. Whoever's in power, this and this and that. We already know how dangerous this is based on what they're saying they want to do to us.
They have no idea what they're doing. They're making every backdoor bullshit deal they can. Don't meet with them. Don't have anything to do with them. Any business we have is going to be conducted with you under oath, subject to aggressive discovery. One thing that I know and you know, these are a pack of crooks, and they're a pack of people that don't give a shit about the United States of America, and we don't want to fuck with them unless we absolutely have to.
Well, I hope you don't have to. Meaning, I hope we steamroll over these Democrats so badly that we don't have to try to whip up no votes or nothing. Because you already see what they're going to do. We'll get nothing done for the next 2 years, and God forbid they win the White House. It's over. They will go ahead and say, now we get to implement our true diabolical scheme to ensure we never have a MAGA movement again. We never have a Trump rise up again. We never have him going ahead and securing our elections again. In fact, we're going to unsecure them. That's what we're going to do. We're going to make sure mail-out votes can go to every state. We're going to make it mandatory. And let's drag in Puerto Rico, drag in Washington, D.C., let's go ahead and give amnesty to all of these illegal immigrants. Let's go ahead and pass hate speech laws and make sure we hold our big tech accountable so that we can get folks like Kevin from Kevin's Corner off the internets for hate speech. Let's do all of that. That's what we'll get if we don't do this right. And it apparently appears that the Republicans aren't taking these folks serious. Aren't they listening to this? Listen to them. Check it out. This is how they feel about it, y'all.
No more meetings, no more bullshit. Throw your right hand in there, put your left hand on the good book or whatever you put it on, and subject yourself to perjury. That's all I'm interested in. That's all Democrats are interested in.
That's all Democrats are interested in.
So let's cut the bullshit out and treat these people exactly what they are and for what they are.
Okay, now you see that attitude, that approach? You think that doesn't sound like an enemy? You think that doesn't sound like an enemy? That sound like a fellow American that is going to allow the evidence to lead them where they go, or sound like people who are on a revenge tour? Now, you wonder why I always say you have to be open-minded to a divorce, a national divorce. How can you live with people like this? When does that stop? If they get into office and they violate our civil liberties, they go after Trump for no reason, go after his cabinet, they repeat the same stuff. Then when we get power back and legitimately have reasons to go after them, they're going to use that again as another excuse to get back in power and do the same thing. And it becomes a vicious cycle unless we defeat them so definitively that they are demoralized and they wake up. That's the only way it's going to happen. If it's close, they still feel like they got a lot of folks on their side. Because at some point, we're going to get sick of this going back and forth, or somebody is going to abuse the system so badly that the rest of the country is going to revolt and say, you know what, that's it, man. I can't take this no more. Yeah, right now, they blocked every avenue for us to get any type of justice, freedom, and all of that stuff. So our back's up against the wall. You don't want that. The best thing to do at some point is say, how about y'all? If y'all hate us that much, if it's irreparable and all of that stuff, how about y'all just take California, take Seattle? That right there should hold all the crazies, and y'all can just have it. Let that mess just go ahead and implode. But we don't have to be having some in the country back and forth civil war, using lawfare, going after each other. We don't need that. That's what these people want right here. They just couldn't take the loss. And look at this chick.
The Democratic Party needs to be cleansed from the inside out. We need to get rid of all Democrats that are collecting AIPAC money. Fetterman has to go. Schumer has to go. Hakeem Jeffries needs to go.
That's why Hawker Jeffries came out with that apology, or trying to justify that. Let's be clear. I'm going to keep it real with y'all. So now we already see one of the major elements you got to have as a Democrat radical voter is you got to hate the Jews. They're responsible for everything. Thunderstorm comes through, destroy your neighborhood. It's the Jews. All of that. That's a litmus test for them. I mean, how did we get to a point where anti-Semitism then came back in and set up root in the Democrat Party? It set up root. And you know, they, at this point, they're not even talking about just the ones that they feel are, you know, maybe, you know, evil or something like that. It's just now just Jews in general. I mean, you can just sense it. It's oozing out of them, and you can tell they just despise Israel as a whole. They despise it. They would be okay with just openly hating the Jews. They would be okay with that. But let's continue hearing how these voters want the Democrats to respond.
If the Democrats win the midterms and take back the House and the Senate,
what?
Hakeem Jeffries cannot be the Speaker of the House. Ro Khanna needs to be the Speaker of the House.
That's sellout?
Why? Because of this. As reported by the New York Times, Hakeem Jeffries met with Jared Kushner in New York City in a private meeting. Now, of course, the discussions signal behind-the-scenes preparations for potential bipartisan cooperation if the Democrats regain control of the House. Now, we all know that if the Democrats take back the House and the Senate, Trump and his criminal son-in-law and cabinet will be investigated and Trump will possibly be impeached.
Impeachment is a waste of time. Imprisonment needs to be the goal.
What?
Not impeachment. Imprisonment. Now, this was a private meeting, and it took place in Manhattan. And they were supposed to be discussing housing, immigration, and the high cost of living and trying to find out where there could be some common ground. The thing is this, Brother Hakeem is an establishment Democrat, okay? And so he's always going to be looking for this middle ground. They're supposed to be talking, him and Jared, in order to establish...
She's from New York, talking, him and Jared. You can tell she's from New York. She's been infected with the mind virus, with some TDS. But do you see how their radical voters are? You think they're focused on, you know what, the economy and gas prices? No, they're focused on revenge. The Democrats could literally get back in power and do nothing but go after Trump, his cabinet, and all of us, and they would be happy. Gas prices could go out the roof. Grocery can go up. These folks can implement all kind of policies that will actually hurt them when it comes down to their freedoms. And because they will say, no, that's being targeted at Trump and all of his supporters, they won't even be able to see the blind spot that, wait a minute, what happens when these folks set up all of these things and then I want to say something that they don't like? Yeah, they will cheer on them, you know, coming down on big tech to censor us, get all of us off the internet, all of our hate speech, make sure these folks can't be making sure kids can't get this and make sure they can't be out protesting stuff, make sure they this and that. And then when they want to go ahead and protest or say something provocative, then they'll realize that, whoa, wait. Now, we thought that all of the stuff we gave y'all power to do was going to be directed at Trump and all of his evilness. We didn't think that it would come back to us. We didn't think that. But this is how liberalism works. This is how these useful idiots operate. They don't realize the stuff that they're, requiring the Democrats to do can be flipped on them. So now she ain't talking about policies. She ain't talking about a better life. She's talking about nothing but revenge and throwing out accusations of guilt with no investigation whatsoever.
A middle ground, and yes, they have a history in y'all's president's first term of coming together to do a criminal justice reform bill that actually was passed, the First Step Act, and so he's always going to be looking for a way to work together. What it really seems like is the White House is in damage control because they see the writing is on the wall.
Really? Boy, it's going to be egg in face if these folks do not win that House and that Senate. Now, you know what's going to happen. If that happened, unleash the hounds. Release the Kraken, unleash all of the crazy radicals. They're going to come out saying Trump stole the midterms. Now we got to riot. We got to tear up no kings, all of this stuff. It's going to be nothing but chaos for the next 2 years. But you know what? You know what? I don't care. Because see, if we win big enough, I would suggest use our military to stomp them out. If these NGOs or whoever start paying all the protesters and the rioters, yeah, go ahead, stump that mess out. Do not tolerate these radical folks. And in the meanwhile, pass all of those executive orders and legislation to make sure that these folks do not ever be able to get back in power and start cheating again. Make sure. Stump them out. That's what you do. Let the babies cry. Let them whine. Let them do what they always do. Go to the mic saying this is an injustice. Our democracy is in jeopardy. Pretty much it's gone. Trump's a dictator. He stole the elect. All of that stuff. Let them do it. They're going to do it anyway. They've been doing it for the last 10 years. So, hey, let the baby cry. At some point, it become white noise.
So they're in damage control.
The New York Times reported over the weekend that Hakeem Jeffries and Jared Kushner had a private one-on-one meeting. There are a couple ways to look at that. Generous way, which I don't share, but I will state, is that MAGA is already basically conceding the House that Trump already is, and so they're trying to think about what to do going forward.
I'm not thinking that way. I don't know why. I mean, look, everybody talk about, well, you know, traditionally, I don't know. We're not in traditional times right now. We're not in traditional times. You know, back in the fourth when, you know, Democrats and the, you know, Republicans were kind of the uniparty, maybe they had back deals talking about, look, all right, we're going to get it this time. We give it to y'all next time. And whoever gets it, make sure we go easy on the stuff that benefits us both. Okay, we all know we're trashy and we're dirty and we set up systems to allow ourselves to benefit. So don't mess with that stuff. Okay, don't mess with that stuff. And don't be trying to throw either one of us in jail. All right, we all got to stick together. But we're no longer in that time. So I hope that the voters realize we're no longer in a time where we can sit back and say, well, let's share the power. Let them have their turn. I'm sure they're going to be okay. No, just listen to what they're saying.
The less generous way to see that is that Hakeem Jeffries is already standing down from the battle stations and is planning on being more accommodating than we would wish he would be during the 27, 28 end of Trump years, where, as far as I'm concerned, the only conversation he should be having with Jared Kushner is across the table during an oversight hearing after he's been subpoenaed.
I'm on the ungenerous side.
Why? I mean, I'm just wondering. See, like, you're throwing that out there, and I'm saying, for what? What evidence? You just want to go ahead and say, yeah, man, I assume this guy, maybe because he's just Jewish, but I assume he's always into stuff. Same thing with Trump. Trump should be in jail because he should get a subpoena. He's the most corrupt. And I'm saying, what did he do? Pete Hegseth's going to be investigated for war crimes. What are you talking about? They just sling this stuff out there. And the sad part is, you know, they're going to do it because they don't care whether the evidence backs it up. They don't care if Trump's, you know, authority is legitimate or not. They don't care if, you know, the law says, well, as the president, he can do that. They don't care. It ain't about that. It's about, you know what? We now have to roll him out and make an example out of him to all of our crazy radical voters who want blood. And for anybody coming up behind Trump that's going to try to bring an America First agenda. So we got to make an example out of him. So we will sit back and say, yeah, the Constitution might give him the ability to do that, but we don't care. We don't care. In this case, because it was Trump, just like those classified documents, for some reason, everybody else is allowed to take classified documents home. It was cool. It was cool. But Trump, yeah, he must have been selling nuclear codes to the Russians or something. Oh, Biden did it too. But it's different. It's different. He's just an old senile man that didn't know better. And stuff like that. Listen to his boy right here. Listen what he got to say.
And one thing, listen, it also alarms me that it's not even about 27, 28. I think some of them have talked themselves into the notion that, you know, we have to look like we're ready for governing in 27, 28. We can't just be running against Trump and against the Trump administration and against ICE and against terrorists, against corruption and against the war. Saving us from autocracy, from a stupid war, from failed terrorists, from ICE's horrors. That would be a very, very good thing to do. But no, they have to be working with Jared Kushner on affordability. Kushner, he's just at the center of the corruption. Why are they meeting with him?
Yeah. So they're basically convincing these people they got to save us from nothing. All of these people run around, they got to save us from ICE, they got to save us from this, they got to save us from that. I'm saying you're saving them from nothing. Do these people forget how bad the economy was under Biden? What are you going to save us from? I mean, things aren't worse than that. And my gut tells me once this war is over, things will get even better. And if folks would stop fighting against Trump, I mean, our enemies are relying on the Democrat Party to cause so much havoc and resistance to whereas when Trump is trying to put the pressure on these countries to give us fair trades and fair deals, they know they got an advocate here that's trying to sabotage that. So they're like, if we could just hold out and continue to pimp America, frustrate America, drive up prices instead of capitulating to fair trade, because we see the Democrats over there like the tariffs, this and that. Yeah, we see a divide in their country because we got enemies amongst us. See, yeah, they care more about power than what's going to benefit the country as a whole. So if I'm Canada, if I'm China, I'm going just 2 more years. If we can outstand Trump for just 2 more years, we'll be fine. Yeah, that's what they're all banking on, because they're looking at our enemies within. They're hoping we self-destruct. And then you hear guys like this.
Yeah. I mean, they should. He should have to testify. He hasn't testified in like 8 years or something. I pulled this up the other day. Kushner should be under oath talking to Hakeem Jeffries. And so, and like the idea that, we can find some common ground. Why would you want to find common ground?
Why would you want to find?
Like, on what? It's utterly.
I just watched.
Now you see that? And why would you want to find common ground? Do you think these people want civility? You think they want peace? You think they want unity? They're like, why would you even think about that? I mean, Trump and his administration is obviously so evil. Nothing they've done is good. Nothing they've attempted to do is good. We're going to come in and undo all of that and just go after them and get nothing done. We ain't coming in with no legitimate solutions to problems. Nah, forget that. All we're coming in with is investigations and attacks. And then listen to this lady. Here's another one of their crazy voters.
Watched Hakeem Jeffries' response to the outrage with him meeting with Jared Kushner.
Okay.
And did you feel like he was being condescending when he opened up with, let me give you some real talk? Did you feel gaslit? Because I did.
Well, see, the funny part is you don't realize you have already been gaslit. This is what all of their crazy voters don't realize. That they're so angry and hateful towards Trump right now because they've all been gaslit. That they don't realize they think Trump is guilty of all of these felony charges because they've been gaslit. They think Trump is a fascist and a king because they've been gaslit. See, the problem with that is when you believe something that is so crazy because they make you feel everybody else believes it. Yeah, you're sitting back saying, you know what? Trump thinks he's a king. And then you tell them that Trump wants to be a king. Trump wants to be a king. Trump wants to be a king. And all of a sudden they start, saying Trump wants to be king without internalizing what that actually means and what it looks like. That's when you're gaslit. When you're saying, wait a minute, you think Trump is wanting to be a king? What makes you say that? Because look how he's acting. How is he acting? I mean, is he just running over all of these crazy injunctions that the courts are pulling out, or is he fighting them in court? Is he stopping you from marching around in the middle of the day with a no king sign and yelling and having a vagina hat on and all of that stuff? That doesn't sound like something a king would permit. But you're not smart enough to realize that doesn't make sense. That's why you're gaslit. And that's why you're making videos in your car talking about that.
He went on to say that he and Jared Kushner were meeting about affordability. Since when is affordability, Hakeem, anywhere on the agenda for the Trump administration?
So you think really Trump is going, you know what? I want our economy to be unaffordable. I mean, forget that I'm fighting for fair trade so that, we could go ahead and pay for, lower costs for goods. Forget that I'm fighting for fair trade so we also will have companies in America making profit, thus passing it along to all of their employees. Forget that. Forget the fact that once this war is over, you think I'm going to be cool with gouging, for gas and stuff. You think that's what Trump prides himself on being able to say, see, look what I did, y'all. See, look how low inflation is. Look how low gas pricing. He prides himself in that. But if you listen to her and the Democrats, he's sitting around like, let's punish the American people. Let's do everything we can to drive up prices so we can just punish the people, even though it's doing nothing for me but making my reputation look bad. And if it doesn't change, then that's what they'll try to label me as a president. The president that had all the prices up in this. You think Trump want that to be his legacy? You don't think Trump is working in the background saying, okay, we got to deal with these things real quick? And a lot of those things are problems that came over from the Biden administration. However, not only we got to deal with that, let's go ahead, hurry up, wrap up this Iran mess, try to go ahead, get some good trade deals and start getting this economy together. Okay. But these people, they don't care. Even when Trump was in office the first 4 years and the economy was booming, They didn't care about the economy. They cared about racism. They cared about, immigration and all those kids being ripped and separated. And I'm going, you don't care about your 401? You don't care about all the money that you're making? You don't care about how all these businesses are opening up? You don't care. So liberals are dumb. Yeah, they care about all the stuff that doesn't matter. They will fight for social justice over financial stability any day. But let's finish hearing this lady right here.
You want us to believe that Donald Trump and his administration is most concerned about affordability if Democrats take the House in November? Wait, do you think we're that stupid, Hakeem?
Yes, I do. I think that every liberal should have some type of IQ test before they vote. That's how stupid. When you sit back and watch them and you see how easily they have been gaslit, how easily they're manipulated, how easily they change their mind, how irrational their arguments are, the stuff that they support. I sit back and I say, man, I didn't realize we had a stupidity problem in the country. I didn't realize that many people were unintelligent. See, before, back in the day when politics wasn't so polarized, you would judge people's intelligence on, some of their decision making or their, academic status or their, their credentials and their job, status. You would judge it on that. But now you can't even do that. You see folks that are in positions. I'm a doctor, but and then they get on here and you say your social IQ is so low. I'm concerned for you. How do you function? You need to be wearing a helmet. I don't care if you're a doctor or not. When you get up here and you tell me you support that crap or you believe in that mess, where any common sense person back in the day, before, you would be able to, vocalize how socially crazy these things sound when none of this stuff was issues. Yeah, nobody was speaking. They weren't getting on TikTok and letting you know how dumb and crazy they sound. You just assume they was intelligent. If you can have a conversation with them, it makes sense. Oh, what do you do for a living? Oh, wow, I'm a pathologist. Oh, cool. Wow, man, I'm impressed. But now you will catch some of these same people that you would have once looked at and said, you're intelligent. But when you hear them address social issues, common sense stuff, the internet has exposed that we have a crazy / low IQ problem in our country. If you don't believe me, check out this next story.
Jared Kushner represents the billionaire class. His net worth has increased 1,440% since Trump first took office, but especially since he walked into the White House in 2025. Jared Kushner is the wheeler and the dealer. He is the billionaire donor class's direct connection to the Trump administration. Jared Kushner is spending his time traveling the world, holding conferences, recruiting more billionaire real estate investors to develop in Gaza.
It always got to go back to Gaza, got to go back to the billionaires, all of that stuff. Don't forget, that's the tactic of the Marxists. Divide the country between the rich and the poor. And in that case, it's the billionaires versus everybody else. We need to go after the billionaires and don't forget the Jews. Don't forget the Jews. So this girl right here is going to go ahead and sum it up of what's really happening with these Democrat socialists, with these Marxists, with these darn communists, with the Democrat Party. She's going to break it down. I don't know what nationality she is, but she sure is brilliant. She's going to sum it up real good. Tell us what's really going on as we watch these crazy Democrats talk about what they're going to do to us if they get in power.
Probably heard political experts over and over refer to the fact that what we're witnessing is a color revolution. And they're right. And let me explain why. A color revolution is a communist globalist playbook to take over a country without tanks actually rolling down Main Street.
Oh, like what my show talked about yesterday and the day before, where we saw guys from the past tell us how they're going to infiltrate our country through, coming in through these crazy liberals and all of that stuff. And then they're going to slide in and introduce communism eventually. So by using color revolution and all of that stuff. So now this smart, intelligent woman is re-emphasizing what those men from the past said, and she's going to make it plain and clear. Tell us more about this.
It's how they flipped places like Serbia, Georgia, Ukraine, and they tried to flip a dozen others. The same exact playbook every single time.
What?
This is how they do it. One, they demonize the leader of the people who they actually voted for.
Oh, so Trump You know what? He's a jack. You know what? And he's the devil. And no, it's cool to hate him. He's a dictator. He's Mussolini. He's Hitler. He's all of those things. So let me get that straight. All of the stuff that they've been saying about Trump for the last 12 years or so, that's a part of the plan. What else they do? What else they do?
2, they flood the country with chaos like riots, open borders, economic pain.
Oh, snap! Man! Lady, how do you know this? Well, because we saw all of those illegal immigrants come. We saw the summer of love. We saw them unleash all of these crazy radicals tearing up stuff. And then we saw them shut down our economy for 2 years and some change. Yeah, they're trying to bring the pain. So now look at that. What else?
3, they weaponize the courts, the media, and big tech to finish him off.
Oh, snap! Are you some type of guru? What is this? What kind of voodoo is this? How do you know this, lady? Oh, I know it too because I'm living through it. So wait, you use the media, you use big tech, you use lawfare like we saw, back then. What else?
And 4, they install a puppet who sells the country out to China and the UN, and that's not theory.
What, you know what? We're going to make sure NATO have true international division. Wait, what was it saying again? Where's Uncle Finnegan? He was eaten by pygmies back in the day. I wanted to drive a choo-choo train. I grew up in a black neighborhood. You mean a puppet like that? You mean a puppet like that? Wow, this lady's on.
That's the manual. They opened it on us in the United States the day Donald Trump won in 2016.
Well, what?
And here's how they ran it on us step by step.
Give it to us.
From 2016 to 2020, they gave us the Russia collusion hoax, FBI spying, 2 fake impeachments, Antifa burning cities, while CNN called it fiery but mostly peaceful.
Wow, now do you see it? You see how they all work together? How their evil plan all came together. Now, isn't it funny how we're able to see that so clearly? It's like one of those Rorschach tests. It's like one of those things that you used to have in the mall, those pictures. They're like, all right, stand here and look at it. What do you see? Most people are like, I don't see nothing. I see a lot of polka dots. Then all of a sudden, you see an old lady or something, and you're like, oh, there's a lady in that picture. Oh, you see it. Once you see it, you can never unsee it. I'm able to look back and say, okay, I see exactly where they're going. I mean, I'm looking at these Democrats and all of these evil folks like chess pieces. I'm going, I know what you're going to do. You're coming after my queen right here, and you think I don't recognize what you're doing. You're trying to set me up over here. I see you positioning yourself. But liberals don't realize they're the actual pawns that these folks are using. So let's see what else.
And the goal was to make you hate the guy you voted for.
True.
In 2020, we had 2 a.m. ballot dumps, boarded up windows, 51 Intel agents lying about Hunter's laptop, Zuckerberg dropping $400 million to help count votes in Democrat cities. And the goal there was to steal the election while calling you a conspiracy theorist for noticing.
Nothing suspicious about all of that evidence right there. No need for an investigation. Trump's making it up. There it is. There's nothing suspicious about them boarding up windows and not letting folks see. Nothing suspicious about big fat drops coming in the middle of the night when we're winning. And I go to snooze and wake up the next morning and I'm like, how do we lose? We were so far ahead. What just happened? Oh, a big dump of ballots came in overnight. Nothing suspicious there. In liberal cities. Hey, nothing suspicious about them sending everybody home and getting caught on surveillance camera, pulling out big tubs and starting to swipe all night. They was into the swipe of the rhythm of the night, dancing to the morning light. Forget about the worries. They was in there having a good time. La, 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 la. Having a good time. And then nobody addressed that or what that's normal. And you shouldn't be questioning that. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to use our compadres in the media to attack you. Don't you be getting on any of the big tech questioning that election there. Yeah, Mark Zuck, could you go ahead and shut that down and fact check that? Excuse me, YouTube, can you power them down? Can you go ahead and all of that? Twitter. Now you see the game plan? Let's go ahead and use all of the institutions that we have co-opted down through the years for a moment just like this, just in case a Trump pop up and the people wake up and rise up against us. Yeah, we can't convince them to support us legitimately. So now we got to use all of this to go ahead and suppress them, oppress them, all of that stuff, intimidate them. What else, smart, beautiful lady?
From 2021 to 2024, we had Joe Biden opening the border on day one. 12 million plus illegals, military-age men from China and Venezuela and all over the world. Free flights, free hotels, free EBT cards, all on your dime.
All of that. But now these Democrat socialists are worried about the military spending and how much we spend with the Pentagon and all of that and the budget. They're all worried about that. Yeah, they're not even talking about all the shelters, all the housing, all the transportation, all the food services, all of the social services, all of that mess. They're not talking about that. In fact, what they're talking about is, you know what? These people contribute to our country. They should stay. They should stay. What else, lady? Because you are dropping it. And unfortunately, as smart as she is and how clear she is and how clear this is able to be seen by us, a liberal can listen to her and they will call her a fascist. They call her a fascist. Somebody said, I did just miss a DeBarge song. Yes, you did. Oh, yeah. When it feels like the world is on your shoulders and all of the madness has got you going. Such a feel-good song. Such a feel. How could you be mad? You could be as sad as you could have just lost your dog. Sitting there pouting and that come on. To the beat of the rhythm of the night. Dancing to the morning light. Forget about the worries of your life. All of a sudden you out there jamming. La, 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 la. People like, did you just lose your dog? Yeah, but it's the beat of the rhythm of the night, man. Yeah. Between that and Lionel Richie. Well, my friends, the time has come. Go away and have some fun. Life is good and wild. Yeah, man, we're going to party tomorrow. Forever, all night long. Loved it. See what y'all did. See what y'all done did. Got me all distracted, singing songs and mess. Now let's get back to the smart lady who's trying to help folks out.
Cities collapse, crime explodes,
Bam.
schools and hospitals break. The goal, to make Americans feel like strangers in their own country.
Bam.
Then from 2021 to 2025, 91 felony charges, Mar-a-Lago raided, gag orders, mug shots. They didn't want to just beat Trump. They wanted to break him and every future patriot who dares to run. Look at...
So smart you are. Because, see, that's exactly the playbook in Europe. And they want to be just like Europe, where the Europeans feel scared. They out there like, we can't hold our flag up because that might offend all of our neighbors that done came in here. Yeah. We don't want to be too patriotic over here. We feel like strangers in our own land. That's what they want to do here. That's what they want to do. And then, to put the icing on the top, let's go ahead and go after Trump so viciously to where all of his supporters recognize this is obvious lawfare. They recognize it. I mean, we're going, oh, come on. Y'all don't see this. Y'all don't see the fixes in. But see, they know that they dumb voters are going, Trump deserves all of that. He's guilty of all of that. I'm going, you don't see this is a gang up. This is a pile. You don't see they're using the government to stop this dude. You don't see that. And you wonder why we all voted for him. You wonder why. But yep, that's what they did, and it didn't work. But guess what? We just heard a whole bunch of them talk about what they're going to do if they get back in, because they don't learn. Yeah, they don't learn. So tell us some more, lady.
Look at what they did to Charlie Kirk. That is a textbook color revolution.
Yep.
But on November 5th, 2024,
what happened?
The American people looked this Marxist coup dead in the eye and said, not today.
Word.
312 electoral votes, popular vote landslide, the biggest Hispanic and Black Republican turnout ever.
Word.
We pulled off the greatest peaceful counter-revolution.
Greatest peaceful counter-revolution. Unlike the radical left and the Marxists. They don't try to get their revolution through peace. Nah, man. Because they're fighting against fascism. They're fighting against Nazis and stuff. So we could throw stuff at them, burn down stuff, attack Elon Musk's cars and stuff. We could hit them with stuff. We could snatch their hats. We could break out windows. We can take over a whole city block. We can do all of that because the Democrats have given us the green light. And that's a part of their playbook. Yeah, but yet we're tolerable. And we're the ones that's fighting for democracy. Now, imagine if we did that under. Imagine if we just said, you know what we're going to do? We're not having a peaceful revolution. And tell you, no, we're going to do this by. Yeah, you know how many lives would have been lost? But what do? We dealt with it. We sat back and said, we see what they're doing. We see what they're trying to do. We see what they did. They locked us down. They persecuted us. They censored us. They're targeting us. They're putting us on secret list. They destroyed our economy. Folks lost jobs. Kids got forced to get stuff they didn't want. Folks, all of that. We still waited it out and said, hopefully we can do this the peaceful way. And we did.
In world history. But the deep state isn't done.
They ain't done?
The same snakes who funded BLM riots, the Ukraine coup, and Arab Spring still sit in the FBI, CIA, big tech, and the universities. They'll try again in 2026 or in 2028.
Yeah.
But now you know the game.
Yep.
Every time you see another mostly peaceful riot, sudden experts all using the same scripted words, a new crisis 2 weeks before an election, you're watching the Color Revolution playbook live on American soil. Never forget what they tried to do to us. Back mass deportations. If we have no border, we have no country. Protect every America First fighter willing to swing the axe on the swamp. Teach your kids the truth. Communism didn't die in 1991. It just died a tear purple and moved to Washington.
You know what?
This is still the United States of America. We are still the home of the brave, and the brave do not bow to color revolutions. Recognize what is happening. Stare it in the face, speak out against it, and then we finish taking our country back, one closed border, one drained swamp, and one restored republic at a time. We need to support our president in taking all necessary measures to do just that. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
My dreams are now reality. Each and every time you are here with me. She made me sing, y'all. She laid that mess out crystal clear. Crystal clear. For those that have an eye to see. But for those that are stupid, they would be like, look at her, she's a sellout. She's an indigenous person that should be, mad at Trump and all of his white supremacy. I mean, don't you know that these white folks took your indigenous land? I mean, they took your, what tribe are you from? I'm not from any tribe. Oh, well, you look, well, anyway, you're a person of color. You're a person of color. You should be on our side. They would totally listen to that. And even though you could look at how it played out in history, they would be going, that's not what we see. That's not how we see it. And the Democrats would be going, yes, that's not how you see it. So now, let's get to this, because this is another cancer in our society. See, we've been infected by, all of these crazy liberal ideologies like feminism, to the point where smart, intelligent people are no longer smart and intelligent. To the point where you sit back and you say, remember back in the day, before the internets and all of this craziness, if this thing would have happened, folks would be shocked, upset, and demanding justice. But now we live in a day where these folks are exposing that, we might sound intelligent when we say stuff or how we talk. We might speak with the King's English. But when you're able to hear our thoughts, I don't care how eloquent you speak. I don't care how much enunciation you use. I don't care if you use the King's English. If your words come out and express your thoughts like these women, then I'm going to look at you and say, you're stupid. You're absolutely stupid. So now, if you haven't heard, let's get into this case.
The feminist left, it is entirely predicated on women cannot be held accountable for anything.
Yeah, because that's the foundation of feminism. And it's new push. And it's across the board. Black people can't be held accountable for anything. Forget if you bring a knife to a dang on track meet. Go sit in a tent where you shouldn't be. Refuse to leave. And the guy tell you, I don't want to fight you. Just go ahead and leave. Yeah, forget that. And then you decide, because he pushes you to go ahead and right in the heart. Yeah, you can't be held accountable for that. Yeah, just like women, strong women can't be held accountable. Now understand, feminists, the big feminist push really is dominated by white liberal women. White liberal women, for whatever reason, have been infested with feminism. I'm talking strong feminism, to where it destroys your common sense, your ability to see facts, to where you hate men, even the ones that are with men. I feel like they still hate men. So let's get into this.
From psychosis, I know that well. I understand it. Most people don't kill their kids. But I'm not willing to even entertain that conversation right now, because the conversation right now should be nothing other than Evil lives amongst you, and we need to eradicate it. Killing three...
Evil lives amongst us? Well, yeah, we just saw a lot of that evil a minute ago, talking about what they're going to do to Trump and all of that. But let's see what you're talking about here, because I'm sure I just heard you mention this lady killed 3 of her kids. Are you kidding me? So what's the problem? Somebody go ahead, get the cuffs, get the bars, or do we have what? White liberal women coming out because women can do nothing wrong and they're constant victims and stuff like that, and nothing's their fault.
Children, there wasn't much discussion to be had. Also, this idea of, well, this person was insane or this person was driven insane. I don't know if you know this. Pretty much every serial killer, pretty much every mass murderer has tried to use that defense.
True.
So acting as though it's unique because woman. Can someone explain that to me?
Yeah, well, I'll explain it. Because of feminism. Because of all of this stuff. Yeah, we're in the era of victimization. Only people that can't be looked at as a victim is straight white upper class men. That's it. That's it. Or conservative women. Conservative women. But any other woman, because women, for whatever reason, always want to identify with some ailment, some mental illness, some this and that. And I got an ism, I got a schism. And we folks need to pay more attention to this. And you want to one up the other liberal woman about that. You know, I suffer from anxiety. You know what? That ain't nothing. I suffer from this and this and that too. And so whenever a woman, a liberal woman, does something like this, it can't be her fault. In fact, it got to be the patriarch's fault. Got to be a man's fault. We got to stick together with these feminists, no matter how guilty they are, how evil their decision is made. Now understand, back in the day, every woman with her motherly instinct would kick in and say she did what to her kids? Are you kidding me? They would be the first to identify with this woman needs to pay a price. But this is where we're at nowadays, and the internet is exposing all the women not to date. So now let's continue.
I will tell you it's actually less relevant in this case because a lot of the information from the TikTok detectives that you've heard is incorrect.
It's incorrect?
The man was cheating on her. No, he wasn't.
He wasn't?
The man was abusive. No, he wasn't.
No.
She didn't have access to care. She absolutely did. She was a nurse. She had access to tons of care, more than anybody else out there, as a matter of fact. We don't do anything about postpartum depression. That's not true.
That's not true.
So what do we do here? That level that you saw at the WNBA, that irrational, emotive response, we are seeing that as a form of mass psychosis. And by that I just mean close to 50% of women in the United States reacting to Lindsay Clancy, the woman who strangled 3 of her children, as evil as it gets.
What?
Well, today, you get a little bit of a fan club.
Are you kidding? No, you know what, Crowder? Are you kidding me? So let me understand this. This is where feminism has gotten us to the point where, of course, any group that we label as a victimized, vulnerable group, whatever they do, it's not their fault. Same thing with all those black young scholars. When they get in trouble, it's not their fault. They just want some loaf of bread to eat. That's all they want. It's slavery. All of it ain't their fault. Same thing with these women. When you're working hard to excuse, all of your allies, because let's be honest, white liberal women, and liberals in general, we all got problems. I don't see how you can date a liberal person anyway. They always got problems. They always got some type of issue. Do you understand how bad things got to be for me to be complaining? Things are not great right now for me. I'm not getting on her like making videos. Hey, y'all, what's up? And guess what had happened to me today? And all of that stuff. I mean, you live with it. You deal with it. You adapt. You adjust. But liberals, they love it. They love using that stuff. Yeah. And then, of course, they want to be an advocate for anybody else that they can identify. There might be, somebody suffering from one of the ailments that they all just love. I haven't met any group of people who like being messed up. They like having problems and issues. They like being able to say, you know what, I got a therapist and I was in therapy and I take this medicine and I suffer from this. And I'm saying you used to be embarrassed to say these things. Now all of a sudden this is a badge of honor in liberal, atmospheres. You used to go, man, if you do got some type of issue, you don't want to be out telling folks that. You don't want to have folks thinking we got craziness in our family. But no, not them. So they lead, issues first. So now here we go, because now they're making excuses to do what? Blame men. Look at that. Woman killed 3 of her kids. And this is what she's getting.
Unbelievable.
This is where we fall into, guys. I bet you all of these ladies right there definitely love abortion. love it. All the way up to the 9th month. And you shut up. You have no say, man. I don't care if you're went half on a baby with me. You shut your mouth. We're here to support this strong woman who knowingly unalived all three. All three. You didn't wake up after the first one. You didn't get shocked and go, what have I done? Let me stop while I'm ahead. Nope. You move to the next one and then the next one. And here these evil chicks are out here like this. Unbelievable. And like he said, everybody claims I'm insane. I mean, God forbid Kev do something crazy and decide, all right, you know what, the neighbors are cutting the grass early in the morning. I can't sleep. I'm going out and I'm taking them all out. You don't think I'd be in there like, yeah, I tried too. They'd be like, come on, Kev. All right, my fault, man. Hey, it was worth a try, though. It was worth a try. You can't hate me for trying. But here they go. They out here. Yay!
Institutionalize every single one of them.
Yeah.
Take their kids away.
Look at that.
Take that baby away from her. That's my opinion.
Show of heart. What about the 3 that won't beat again?
If this is your mom, you don't have to take care of her in old age.
That's right.
I can't even believe this.
Stick her in the Happy Gilmore home.
Can you believe this? First of all, I don't even know how some of these chicks even got babies. I'm like, how do you procreate with some of these chicks? I mean, you don't sense that they're infested with such liberal feminist ideology. I'm surprised they let you even get close enough to breed with them. I'm surprised they're like, all right, before you approach me, you got to get on all 4 knees and grovel up to me and demand that the matriarch reigns forever. And I want you to denounce all of the patriarchal, all of that mess. I'm surprised. So now here are all these women that if they don't have children, most likely they're not going to have them, especially looking like that and coming out and supporting this mess. And then the ones that do, they should be thinking kid first, not Lindsay first. I don't hear any of them talking about the kids. Justice for the 3 kids. No, it's justice for Lindsay.
Don't pay for it.
Look down.
Look at this.
Rolled her hands down the wall and eventually decided, okay, now it's time to flip. Lands on her thoracic spine and is dead to the world.
Everyone.
Do you understand how hard you have to be working to be dumb and evil for you to, here you are reenacting it, trying to justify it. Now forget what the trial is saying. Forget what Lindsay herself said. Yeah, I did it. No, we're not going to believe that. Somehow, it's a mistake. It's a mystery. So now we got the white version of the Nolan Wells black version, the Kamala Anthony black version, where all of the evidence, all of the witnesses say, yeah, this dude killed Hunter. Yeah, most likely Nolan drowned. So what? Now, you got those dudes on the boat. You got the phone call about the. And no matter what they hear, they go, I don't care. Same thing with these women. They're just the white liberal version of those folks. So now here they are trying to reenact stuff and show us how it all went down. Then look at this.
One of us that have roots that go back to the Salem witch trials. We are freeing our ancestral bloodline by coming together for Lindsay Clancy.
Do you understand how evil and stupid you sound? I mean, hopefully she's single. The internet has corrupted the minds of folks. Liberals get on here and they say and do stuff and they think this is sweet. They think that the average person looking at this is going to praise them. The only guy you would get is a complete softcore mega beta male. I saw what you said last night on the internet and I was so proud. You know what? You're just the type of woman for me. And she'll be like, you're just the type of man for me. Now shut up. Don't talk to a strong woman, okay? You only speak when I tell you to. Any other guy would be listening to that and saying, are you kidding me? I don't care how fine you are. If I see you get on here talking about this, it's over. You become instantly ugly. Nobody wants to be instant ugly. And then look at this chick with a baby.
Well, I'm trying to take care of the kids. I'm drowning every day. I feel guilty that I'm spending my family's money and not making any. I feel like I spend way too much.
2 kids. If I see my girl with our kids making a video, empathizing with this lady, rocking our 2 kids, I'm wondering, are you suffering from this? I mean, how are you able to identify with this? I see you up here crying empathetic to Lindsay and you got our kids, I'm scared to go to work now. If you're not looking at this as an abomination and crazy, and you up here with our kids, I'm going, hey, hon, here, easy, hand me the kids. There you go. I'm sprinting up the street with both kids under the arms like footballs. All she sees is my back and their feet dangling underneath my arms while I'm sprinting away. That's what she sees. Never to be seen again. And then look at this, Dodo. They're actually setting up videos trying to convince us something that the defense of this lady is not even trying to convince us. They're coming up with stuff to justify these murders.
Fall out that window completely limp, or she was completely limp and unconscious when she went out that window.
Lindsay.
Okay, so she is not denying any of this, but they're fighting for her. They're fighting for evil. And then you get this dodo bird. I never thought I'd be able to say this years ago about Candace.
Clancy is obviously not guilty.
She knows that she killed these children.
What? Was that her lawyer? After Candace just said she's obviously not guilty. And her lawyer says she knows that she killed her children. But she's obviously not guilty. Okay. And let's hear.
No, she's obviously guilty.
Clancy did it, and you could not convince me otherwise.
Patrick Clancy, he did it.
I think Patrick Clancy did it, and here's how I think it has happened.
Patrick Clancy did it.
And he knew when he brought this charge that it was going to kill the soul of this young woman. And they would bring their evidence in front of a jury that she knows that she killed these children.
She knows.
She knows that she killed these children.
You're a horrible defense lawyer. If you come out and admit that, she's not going, excuse me, hold up, I never said that. Look at her. Just sitting there. She admitted it. But yet these feminists, these evil, wicked, almost sound like they don't like children. Okay? They'd rather fight for women's rights, all that stuff. They'd rather do that than to support the children while they're like, I know he did it. I know he did it. Anything that happens to a woman, okay, like that, it got to be a man. Now, do you understand the level of contortion you have to go through to override her confession, the evidence, the defense making that statement? But yet here you are. I know he did it. Do you know how much you have to hate men to say, I'm willing to throw an innocent man under the bus just because? Men evil. And yet I want a husband one day? No, you're not getting one of those. You're not getting one of those. So let's see.
Yep, a woman murdered her kids, admitted she murdered her kids, but everyone is still blaming a man. Shocker.
She knows that she killed these children.
There is a societal taboo around admitting how hard, especially early motherhood is. Okay,
That's true. It is. It's difficult for men too, by the way, because in a lot of cases they go to work, come home, and still don't get to get sleep. They help out too. Everybody is having a hard time during the first couple of months, especially. It's rough. It's rough. But somehow, for generations, people have gotten through it without offing their kids.
Yeah, before feminism set up shop in our country and then became a cancer. Yeah, always overcorrecting, always going too far. Civil rights, we just want to vote. Now all of a sudden, we want special rights as black people. We don't want to have to obey rules. So now here she is talking about nobody knows how. No, ask my grandmother and them. Ask them who brought up 6, 7 children. Ask them. They never complained. Never thought about, let me go and take out the children. They were more afraid of Henry coming home and all the kids are unalived. Yeah, you better be dead. If Henry came home from that meal and my mom and them and all of the kids was dead, Henry would wake her up if she did try to kill herself. Did you just kill all the kids? Now I got to kill again. I'm going to wake you up to go ahead and... But here she is. You don't know, because remember, y'all, the hardest job is raising kids. Well, if you're raising them by yourself because you had one out of wedlock and you don't have a husband, yeah, it's going to be definitely hard. But my mama did it for a long time. Even Teddy came here and there. And I've seen many other women do it without doing what she did. And she had all the resources. But now, of course, y'all, we got to highlight how hard it is to be a woman. So therefore, we can excuse a heinous act like this.
Those first 6 months for me was hell. Okay, that's part of why I only had a single child. And I've kind of made it my life mission to be open and honest about the reason why I only had one child. Okay, that was miserable. It was so miserable.
Well, I mean, if I'm your husband, the reason you only have one child is because I'm looking at you on this video and going, I can't trust her with another one. I mean, if she's up here okay and trying to make excuses of what this chick did, and she's talking about how miserable she was, maybe she might become a victim of this craziness.
A way to focus on the negative at all, because there's so much positive. Smiles, milestones. There's a lot of positives with the negatives. It is a hard time, but there's also a lot of positives there. A lot of love to be had, which you clearly were not open to at all.
But there is just this connotation and there's this feeling of failure. It feels so unnatural to admit that. So unless you've had a child, I literally do not care. Okay, and nobody is disputing that there's a possibility that she didn't do it. Okay, I personally believe the husband did it.
Holy moly. Holy moly. If she got a husband, how? If you're sitting there, you're her husband, you're going, this chick will frame me any day. She will misplace the blame. Honey, I did everything right, but you know what? It's your fault as a man. How can you come to that conclusion? So, you know what? The failures and all of this stuff, and I personally think he did it, though. I personally think he did it. This is, I mean, it's so revealing. And I'm kind of glad these people are so unaware of, you know, how they look, that they're actually revealing us how crazy they are. These are the crazies in our society. So now here she is. I think the husband did it. You're sending out a bullhorn for men to avoid you. So you better not ever get divorced if you're married.
Patrick did it, for sure.
Patrick did it for sure.
That man did that shit.
So can you tell me why? I thought he was out of the house.
I'm going to make up stuff because I've convinced myself that he did it. That he did it for sure. So,
yeah, but his time frame doesn't make sense. His shoes didn't match when he went into whatever triple B's or whatever. His shoes didn't match. When he came back to the house, it was, he went outside to go check on Lindsay, but then went inside to check on the kids, but then they found him on the couch.
Yeah, in distress after he holding all three of his kids. Hey, I'd be on the couch too with my kids in my arms, you know, crying hysterically. They ain't want it, but here she is. They found him on the couch. I guess she did the investigation. I guess he somehow concoctioned and manipulated the video footage showing him with timestamps in the store during the time when she got killed. And unfortunately, a little glitch, you know, because he went back with the same clothes on and somehow the shoes were different. And he's like, oh man, I forgot to put the right shoes on. They'll never notice. Do you understand the level of stupidity? You know, well, you got to be stupid to have this bad body and you're out there basically in some drawers and a tank top. You got to be stupid. I'm sitting there like that body's not done yet. Put it back in the oven. You done broke it out the oven too soon. It ain't finished cooking. Yeah, those are little short shorts about to slide off your hips. But let's continue though, because here she is. Yeah,
I'm confused. Timeline doesn't match up.
So you're pro Lindsay Clancy?
I'm pro Lindsay Clancy, always. The timeline doesn't match up.
And she got a guy with her.
Tell me more about why his shoes didn't match up when he went from CVS to whatever B's.
Yeah, so you're not like she did it or didn't do it. It's that Patrick did it. We're seeing what the jury says.
And look at that guy.
You know, that's our justice.
The juries can be wrong.
Here you go. That right there is a liberal brain. A brain that is adamant about pushing a liberal, crazy agenda over evidence. And I will not accept anything less. So now, if the jury say, nah, you're crazy. She did it. She admitted it. Here's the evidence. A jury can be wrong. And then she got this soy boy right next to her. The jury could be.
Juries can be wrong. Juries can be wrong.
Look, social media can also put a wrong
claims. They want to claim that he completely changed outfits from one location to the other and that he's totally not wearing the same shoes at all. And I don't know, they look like the same shoes to me. Maybe
Me too.
Me
too. But to the liberal brain, the brain starts to make up stuff. All right, look, we can't accept reality. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and convince us that those shoes look different than the other ones. That's what I'm going to do.
Maybe the new wife played a role.
Oh,
she married him, so
they're coming up with everything. Maybe the new wife. Yeah, maybe she played a role. So let's see what they come up with this.
she doesn't have to legally testify against him, is my thought. Does anyone know where Rachel, Patrick's new wife, was on the night of January 23rd or 24th?
Yeah, where was
Could she have been what Lindsay was seeing as herself?
Ooh.
Chiming in to complicate things with theories. New wife is a fertility nurse. She's a doctor, by the way.
Oh.
She has access to hormones, and hormones will make you absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Can we get them to test Lindsay's hair for a timeline of what pills she was taking, and or if anything was added to the mix unexpectedly?
Wow. Now look at all of these defense lawyers online. Online defense lawyers. Yeah, they are coming up with all kind of Sherlock Holmes theories. All kind of stuff. Now, I think the new wife has something to do with it. What? You say she a doctor? Oh, see, you got to watch out for them doctors. Yeah, I bet you she... And I'm saying, wow, are you getting paid to try to get her off? Or are you so infested with feminism that you are coming up with these crazy theories instead of saying, yeah, if my wife unalived all three of our kids, do you think I'd be sitting around waiting for her, hoping she gets better? You will never be able to see her again the same. Even if they did let her out. Can't have kids with her again. It's over. But these dummies are maybe this happened. So let's see.
Seek help. This whole affair mistress thing is based off of two small facts that Patrick once went on one 2-day business trip to New York, and the fact that his new wife is from New York.
Here's a professional counselor, Jessica Stacy, telling you why she supports Clancy, and these have millions of views and hundreds of thousands of likes and shares.
Now, see, this is what I'm talking about, y'all. This is where you get smart, dumb people, a professional counselor, an activist. See, remember, 20, 30 years ago, you would have a conversation with this person because the internet wasn't around for them to highlight that even though I got degrees or I do this and this and that, I'm really stupid. I'm really stupid. But now, thanks to TikTok and them not being self-aware, she's going to get on here and use her credentials to justify why she think Lindsay didn't do nothing.
I just need to stress, this is not a small minority of women in this country. It's a lot. It seems to be at least a third, probably closer to half. Here you go.
Lindsay Clancy is not going to prison. One of the main reasons that I am qualified to speak on this case
because I'm a liberal
is
feminist?
someone with over 22 years of experience.
That's not for nothing. 22 years of experience for nothing. I mean, I don't even have to get experience, and I know she's guilty. I'm going, oh, well, I can solve this one for you. I don't need 22 years to come to the stupid conclusion that you did.
A licensed mental health professional, and
she's licensed mental.
Of them with a specialty and emphasis on perinatal and postpartum mood disorders.
All of that, just to show that nobody should come visit you. See, that's all you're doing. You're reciting all of these credentials for any sane person to say, I'm not going to her. If this is her conclusion, that's for sure.
It's because I experienced it. She did not want to harm her kids or herself. There are so many women who are desperate to feel better, who are desperate to not feel the regret that they're experiencing when they have this child whom they've wanted for so long. And
Do you hear this idiot right here? Jeffrey Dahmer didn't want to eat those people. He didn't want to. See, I too had feelings and thoughts of eating people before. I did. But I mean, I know that it was greater than him. He felt bad about eating those people, which he said he did. But he said, but I couldn't stop though. Hey, yeah, so let me understand. Didn't want to hurt herself. Now look, if you don't want to hurt yourself, you won't hurt yourself. Let's be real. So here she is making all of these excuses about this lady who you can look at the eyes right there and go, something ain't right. Nobody's home. Yeah, the window shades is open, but the house is empty.
is not because
3 children.
we cannot hold women accountable.
It is.
Many of us see ourselves in Lindsay.
Oh, no, see. No, if I'm dating a woman and she said, I see myself in her immediately, you'll hear the record scratch. Whoop. You know what? I'm about to go and get something to drink at the corner store. Boom. You'll hear me accelerating, burning rubber down the street. But I see, many of us see, if you see yourself in that lady, okay, you got a problem. You got a problem. So now let's finish hearing her convince all these women that all of us at any given moment could be doing exactly what she did. Now, out of all the billions of women who had kids, and the very, very, very few crazy ones that did that, you're acting like this is a common thing.
She could not access the services that could make her better.
Completely,
Many of us know that we could have been only one step away from doing some of those horrific things.
Pause. Yeah, that's like me saying, I know I could have been one step away from a mass, one step away from being Bundy, Son of Sam, one step away. No, I was very, very many multiple steps away. Many, okay? Yeah, but here she is saying that we're so fragile as women, but we're tough. But we're so fragile that we all could have been one step away from unaliving your whole bloodline. That man right there I'm amazed he didn't jump over the thing and start choking her. His whole bloodline gone. Both girls and a boy gone. Most people stop right there. Like, whew, I got 2 girls and a boy. I'm good. What? They're gone? But let's continue.
If your woman says that she feels she could be one step away, get the children away from that woman.
Things, the unimaginable, occurred as a result. But mark my words, she is not going to prison. As if that actually matters to her at this point.
Lindsay Clancy is obviously not guilty.
Now it's clinical psychology.
Well, let's hear what this professional one actually have to say. Because we just heard the bootleg professional. Let's hear another professional give us another insight, okay? So let's see, hear what she got to say.
This is Dr. Chloe Carmichael. Doctor, thanks so much for joining the program. I guess the big question is, in layman's term for our audience, what is the difference from psychosis and what women are saying that they struggle with postpartum depression?
Yeah, break it down.
Good morning, Lawrence. Yeah, there's a huge difference. A psychosis, by definition, means a break with reality, whereas depression could simply be a loss of pleasure, a lack of energy, a lot of negative thoughts, but, certainly not hearing voices or, seeing things. And there's actually an interesting intersection between Lindsay's actions and what she says were the command hallucinations. All of this got started because she didn't want to return to work. That was what the triggering event apparently was extreme anxiety about separating from her children and returning to work.
So she didn't want to go back because she was suffering anxiety from separating from her kids, but being with her kids drove her crazy enough to unalive them. Now, does that make sense? If she would have took her butt back to work, maybe none of this would have happened. But no, she took advantage of that strong husband, that supportive husband who provided money for her, resources for her all this time, only for all of these crazy witches that are blaming him to get out there and say she didn't have support, she didn't have it's not her fault, and all of this stuff. So wait, she decided to stay home with the kids, and now you're telling me because of that it drove her crazy enough to unalive the kids? Continue telling us why this lady's crazy.
And, what an incredibly pathological potential way of acting out, resolving that dilemma that she said that the voice said that her children would be better off dead than being without their mother.
Is there a possibility, because, the burden is on the prosecution right now, and they have to prove at some point she knew of her action. So I guess the question is there the ability through this mental state of psychosis of going in and out of that psychosis? Meaning, at some point, could you know and then go back into the psychosis?
Yes, of course. And many psychotic people are, in fact, really bothered by their hallucinations. And in fact, I think it's also not insignificant that apparently Lindsay reports that the voice told her this was, quote, her last chance.
Yeah, what that mean by that? Now, the fact that you're hearing voices, at least her therapist said that she told her that one time. Why didn't the therapist say, she got a serious problem? I mean, if you're able to go in and out of it, you should be able to recognize that's a problem. I should not be hearing voices. I shouldn't be hearing voices. And I think I might need help. Remove me from the kids. I'm having thoughts about when I'm not crazy and I come back into reality. If I know that I'm hearing voices, seeing stuff and all that stuff, and I'm thinking about unaliving the kids, I'm telling my husband, I don't feel safe around the kids anymore. I don't want you to put me away somewhere. But no, what I'm going to do is not tell my husband that I'm hearing voices. Yeah. What I'm going to do is not tell people how serious of a condition I'm in. Yeah. And that's what I'm going to do. So now let's hear about this medicine, because obviously, y'all, the medicine made her do it, right?
Which is actually interesting. Many psychotic people complain that they feel that they'll never, be free of the voices. And yet this voice was telling her it was her last chance. But, I'm not sure what that meant, but maybe saying, this is your last, quote, opportunity to do this, or else what? Or else the voice is going to go away, or saying that, she's going to end her own life and this is her last, quote, chance to take her children with her. There's oftentimes an overlap between a person's psychotic delusions and what's actually troubling them in real life. These psychotic voices don't truly come from nowhere. Of course, they're obviously being originated from inside that person's head. Well, even in her uncontrollable sobbing moments, from what I've seen, what she's been sobbing is, I can't do this.
I can't do this.
What I haven't heard, and maybe I missed it, but I haven't heard her sobbing and saying, I am so sorry.
Oh, well, look at that. I am so sorry instead of I can't do this. Now, this lady brings up a good point, because if a person suffers from psychosis, that's not cool. If they're aware that they're suffering from it, they want help. They don't want that. It's one of the worst things I had to witness. This is why the doctor said he felt my dad's dementia was brought on and accelerated by getting that stinking nasty shot, because it came out of nowhere and it just like instant dementia. One day he was fine. The day before he was driving around. Next day he couldn't figure out the difference between a remote and a cell phone. And the bad part is he would go in and out. And he said, Kev, this don't make any sense. He said, you don't go in and out of dementia. Once it kicks in, you just drift and keep going. You're not aware that you are drifting off into dementia. He would have 3 days bad, and then he'd be like, Kev, man, something's wrong with me. I mean, I feel like I'm losing my mind. I mean, he would have moments of being aware of him going into dementia. And the doctor was like, he shouldn't be aware of that. He should just not know and keep going. His girlfriend died of dementia. She never knew it. She was not conscious of it. But the worst thing is to see somebody know that they are mentally declining and they can't do nothing about it. You have moments where you're going, man, tomorrow I know I might not even recognize reality or not. And this woman was young enough to do something about it. You're telling me she was aware of it, and yet she just let it happen.
So as a clinical psychologist, what I've been struck by is what appears to be a lack of accountability. Blaming this on medications potentially, which I get it. I've watched the testimony. She very well may have been improperly medicated or over-medicated. But this is not like taking a sleeping pill where the doctors failed to tell her it would put her to sleep, and so she uncontrollably fell asleep. There's no cocktail of medications that automatically leads a person to methodically strangle her 3 young children. And so even her breakdowns in court, again, to me, they don't appear to be, racked with accountability of saying, I'm so sorry. They're saying, I can't do this, which is what her avoidant escape, method seemed to be about in the first place.
Now that's a real analysis. Unlike that other lady, I got what they'll call a PhD in this, and I studies of which is this and this and that. So wait, unless you got jacked up on some PCP or something like that, you're telling me that all those stinking drugs you were taking would not make you one day say, you know what would be a good idea? Let me unalive the kids, all 3. So we can scrap that as an excuse because we had a real professional talk about that. Tell me some more about this, Crowder. I know I'm going a little long, but I want to finish this. Let's continue.
She's obviously very guilty.
It does matter to her because she's pleading insanity. If it didn't matter to her, she would just go to prison. Yeah. It obviously matters to her. She doesn't want to go to jail. She doesn't want to face accountability for her actions.
Yeah. No sorrow. And she welcomes all of these supporters, these women out here saying, it's not your fault, Lindsay. We're all one step away from doing the same thing. All one step away. And it's probably your husband. He probably did it.
This is the result of, at no point here, she committed a heinous crime. And the result is 3 dead children. Oh, it doesn't make a difference because her life is ruined. No, she ruined the lives of everyone around her. You know what? I'm sorry. I feel horrible for the husband who lost all 3 children. And by the way, his wife, who no doubt didn't respect him, who no doubt it was a toxic relationship, not because of toxic masculinity, but because of feminist narcissism. And then people now, he moved on too fast. How fast is too fast? I would imagine your brain hits reset when that happens immediately. Also,
immediately. You let me come home and all 3 of our kids are unalived by you. The love immediately is gone. That's instant love gone. That ain't one of those, I'm still in love with her. I mean, we've been separated for like 8 years, but I still think about her often. No. All of my good thoughts go to horrible thoughts. I can't even pull from wonderful moments that we had. I can't pull from, we did have good times back in. Everything would be blotted out by that sight. The fact that the person I love that bared my children took out my whole bloodline. I couldn't look at her ever again and not see a monster. Even if they said she was crazy. I would be like Iron Man when it came down to the Winter Soldier and he found out that he unalived his parents under hypnosis. And when Captain America said, Cap, it wasn't him. He didn't know what he was doing. Captain America said, I don't care. He killed my mother. That's how I would feel. I don't care. The drugs and postmortem. I don't care. She unalived all 3 of my kids. That's all I could see.
This idea that she didn't have the support that she needed.
Oh, she didn't?
Her husband took paternity leave.
Oh.
Her husband worked from home to be more supportive. Her husband ran errands that she should be running. Her husband picked up medications and food. Her husband paid for a nanny, which likely made her more mad because the nanny could do whatever she needed to do backwards with high heels on.
What else?
Both sets of grandparents assisted. She attended an outpatient postpartum program 5 days a week. She saw at least 6 doctors and nurse practitioners. She was a nurse herself. She had 13 prescribed medications. She would shop around for doctors and meds. By the way, it's reported that she didn't follow up on the talk therapy, just get the meds and then hope for the best. She was a labor and delivery nurse with direct access to medical professionals. If she didn't get enough help, then no one on earth is getting enough help.
So why are all these feminists running around on the internet talking about this is not her fault, the system failed her? It's failed her. And I'm thinking, no. There are women who go through all of that without none of that. Yeah, their husband's going, you'll be all right. I'm going off to work. I got to go to the steel mill, honey. Sorry you're depressed. Suck it up. But she had all of that and still decided to do that. And you got women out here making excuses talking about the system failed her. What other additional assistance could she have had? What other support could she have been given? And yet the husband did it. The husband did it.
Here, speaking of which, is an emasculated attorney who's on Instagram with her influencer girlfriend, making sure he gives the right answers to her pro-Clancy takes.
For the sake of time, I'm going to go past. For the sake of time, I'm going to go past this softcore guy who, for whatever reason, let his girlfriend talk him into going, well, maybe she, for the sake of time, because he has no testes. Look at this crazy one. Some chick at a wedding. Now, understand, this is where we're at with feminism. Radical behind feminism.
We suffer in fucking silence. No, you don't, because you're not a fucking woman. So, I'm saying that, you as a society is saying that every woman, because we all survive in silence, that we should all fucking do it.
But I'm saying this is portraying a bad message for women.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, you don't tell us what it is and isn't.
Now, you go to a wedding, if you're not the bride, maybe you might meet somebody. Who knows? Not like that. If you're at that wedding and you're arguing like this and talking about you're not an effing woman, you don't understand. And man, there's some things I don't need to understand. Some things I don't need to be to understand. They was talking about white people don't understand. Well, because you're not black. If a black person unalives a whole bunch of people, I don't have to be black to understand that. A white person goes, man, that guy right there is a murderer. He shouldn't have did all of that. You don't understand. You ain't black. I don't need to be. I don't need to be. There's a lot of things I don't need to be able to recognize. That right there was wrong and crazy. But now remember, guys, women are so complicated and stuff to whereas if something like this happens, you have to be a woman to understand. I would think a woman should understand better than a man that your motherly instinct should kick in and say, I can't even think about unaliving all 3 of my kids, even my unborn ones. But here she is.
Doing.
I won't. I'm not. I won't.
No, it's fucking insane because here's the thing.
What is it?
Women can do everything. We can work full time. We can take care of our kids. We can manage every fucking schedule. But like, we will always fall short. Oh, you're a stay-at-home mom. Why don't you fulfill yourself by getting a college degree, doing this, doing that?
Pause. This is important. I just talked about the comparisons out there. There is not a single man I have ever met my entire adult life who looks down on a stay-at-home mom. Not one. Not one. There's not a man out there who goes, you're a stay-at-home mom, weirdo. That exclusively comes from feminism, from women's lib, and the women telling you that you should have it all, that you should be able to find some self-worth in your job. Yep. No men feel that way. It's toxic feminist narcissism that is putting pressure on women to deny biology. Because you know what? For the longest time, women were happy raising kids.
Yeah. My both grandmothers didn't even learn how to drive because their husbands took them everywhere. Henry, could you take me to? Let's go. They didn't even want it. They was like, yo, I'm perfectly fine staying at the crib. And the men brought home all the money. And at least the one grandfather treated his wife great. Henry was a little bit of a mess. But, thing restarted. But he makes a good point. I've never met a man who has a problem with a stay-at-home wife. Never. That right there is coming out of the insecurities of insecure women or activist women that are feminists. And then they go so far as to say, you know what? Even if it ain't a problem, I'm going to still say women are being oppressed and this and that. And you don't understand. And all that stuff. And I'm going, but I'm not even thinking that. That's not how we see you. That's how you think we see you. Because you need a reason to justify that feminism, that toxic feminism. But let's continue hearing this lady ruin potential future date.
Not about everything, but women found fulfillment and purpose in it. There's no man. Women, if you're watching, no man looks down on you for being a stay-at-home mom or wife. It is not a thing.
True.
Let's keep playing.
Oh, you work? You have someone else raising your baby.
I'm fine if you want to stand on that hill. But using this case to do it, I don't think is smart.
I'm saying, you can. So
okay. I think a woman killing her 3 kids is not the hill to die on. This is what women need, and this is the health care they need. I'm trying to say that she is not criminally liable, which is a defense of insanity. A defense lawyer would never do that unless it was 100% certain that she did kill her kids.
Here's the thing. I don't.
And how many mothers are there in the U.S. or in the world? And how many of them do that?
You know how many mothers? You know how many mothers suffer from postpartum depression?
Yeah, that's different than killing your kids. See how hard that lady right there, because of her feminism, she's working hard to sound crazy and stupid. She's like, I have to hang on to the narrative. I have to support this radical ideology so much that in spite of this man, just because it's coming from a man who is laying down all of this evidence, facts, common sense. But so what? Do you know how many? And I'm going to see. It's always so what, right? You're so whatting yourself out of common sense, and you're so whatting yourself out of the gene pool, which is good, because all those guys are going, this is the chick not to hook up with. I don't care how fine she is.
Give them killed her for kids.
That's an extreme extreme. Like you cannot. No. I'm saying what I'm saying.
And look at this lady. This lady's recording it all like, I want everybody to hear how crazy this chick sounds.
You cannot say that the system didn't fail her.
Lindsay Clancy.
You cannot say the system didn't fail her.
Clancy is obviously not guilty.
Obviously not guilty. Can't say the system did not fail her. After all of that stuff she had, and still did that. But the system failed her. So now look at how these feminists are reacting to this. Look at this. Look at this. Temper tantrum. Here you go. Run for your life, guys. Look at this one. Look at that. Oh, God. Oh, God. Do you understand if you're that fragile? Now, you got to understand, every single one of these actresses decided to set up a video camera to record how psychotic they are. Yeah, here I am with my baby. My baby's frustrating me. Let me stop, though, for a second. Set up a camera so I can see just how crazy the baby's driving me. That's what I'm going to do. Then I'm going to go ahead, set my little tripod up down here to film myself throwing ice. I guess that's a thing now. Throwing ice all over the place to scare every single man that's watching this away from me. Look at this.
Thank God you set up the tripod.
Yeah, exactly. Looking down at it. Looking down at it to make sure I'm in focus. Let me make sure it's catching me in my craziness.
Oh, like a postpartum girl.
Look at this one.
I'm a silly little bitch.
Too long, didn't read.
Look at this one. Man, honestly, if I saw my wife doing that to my child, I know they say there's never a reason to manhandle a woman, but if your woman is doing that to your child, just a natural reaction. You might not hit her, but you sure would shake the mess out of her. Shake the mess. Here you are throwing God knows what. It could be cold. It could be hot. Water on the baby's head. Water on the baby's head. I mean, it would be one of those. You got the nerve to set up a camera and video this.
Water
that.
Your kid.
Yeah, take the child away.
Even if you have
Oh God, what is this? Y'all see this skeleton right here? Y'all see this? Now, you shouldn't be talking about nothing except a hamburger. Only thing I should hear coming out of your mouth is hamburger. So now this anorexic lady is supporting Lindsay.
husband, which I do. I have an amazing husband. He is so
sword of destiny.
They making jokes of her. She got an amazing husband. How? The husband can grab her around the waist with one hand. Yeah, there you go. Still have room. Boy, this lady is dangerously thin.
With the kids, I always feel like I'm the one that has to think of everything, and he just kind of shows up, which is great. He shows up, he does the work.
You look like you show up in my closet at night.
Everything. And over time, that just really compiles and gets to you.
So wait, she's mad, even though she says she has a great husband. But she's the one that has to think of all this stuff. I wonder, like, do you work? You can't work being that skinny. I mean, I'm surprised you could walk on those legs. How can you support yourself with those skinny behind legs? But you got a great husband, but still you got room to complain. It wears on you because I got to think of stuff. I got to plan stuff and this and that. But I don't have to plan how we got to pay the bills. Don't have to plan how we're going to have a roof over our head. I don't have to plan for any of that. But little things like, you know what? The baby has to go to an appointment. The baby needs to go. He needs his bottle right now. That's too much. It's too much. And here's another crazy one. Look at this. Look at this.
Honey, get back in the liquor store. There was a sale on Grand Marnier. You're gonna love these margaritas.
All liberal white women. All liberal white women. Boy, you're messing up your game. I mean, she actually has a man in the background. I'm surprised that dude ain't like, what the heck are you doing in there? Let me get a straight jacket for you.
Where's all the f***ing ice?
You should be cutting.
Where's the ice? Oh, now here we go. Now we're coming to the end, y'all, because we got us a live one here. Somebody on the internet's doing I guess some type of show where she's a feminist and she's mad at this guy saying this stuff.
I've had it with you.
I've had it.
And your sexism and misogyny.
Your misogyny.
She's a murderer.
I can't. I'm
Sometimes these are man-hating women that are standing outside. This is what it's about. They think the husband.
Look at her. Look at her. She is sitting over there seething, eyes closed, like, just try to keep it together. I cannot believe what I'm hearing come out of this nasty, disgusting, misogynistic man. And I'm saying, do you realize this man is defending the kids? Okay, he's not attacking women. He's not a misogynist. He's upset with the fact that she unalived all the kids. And here you are, disgusted by it. He's a misogynist for saying this.
Did it? They're crazy. They've lost their mind.
Do you know why
they're waiting for a murderer?
Do you know why the woman is in a wheelchair? Did you even notice that she's
couldn't care less?
Thank you. Couldn't care less.
I don't know.
Because she jumped out the window after this.
So she should have. I'd have pushed her. They say.
See, he's too raw. So she should have. I would have pushed her. I mean, honestly, I cannot tell you how I would have reacted if I would have came home and she would have been sitting on the couch, not out the window, just perfectly fine, kids laying there unalive, and she say, sorry, I lost it and killed him. Do you understand how hard that man, for some reason, had enough restraint not to just choke her out there in the snow? Honestly, I'm amazed that he did not just say, that's it. I'm taking everybody. You killed my kids. I'm surprised that he didn't do it. Those are some situations that you probably would get off for, where like the dude came home, his wife just unalived all 3 of his kids, and you didn't expect that he would choke her out. So kudos to him for not choking her to death. But here this lady is. Misogyny.
Lindsay was in psychosis. I think these women are suffering from psychosis. They've been watching too many true crime Netflix dramas. You know, this was an incredibly privileged woman, incredibly wealthy. She had a nanny, and she's still complaining that she needed help. She could not have got more help from the system that she already have received. This is a murderer who strangled her children one by one. One of the boys ran away, and she chased him down and killed him.
That means you definitely want to do it. Kid runs away, and you chase him down to do it. I can't have no empathy for this lady. Not to mention, she checked to see how much time she would have to be able to do it. Honey, could you go to the store and get some stuff to eat? Huh? Let me see. He going 10 miles. That's why I got 20 minutes to do my dirt. 20 minutes. But yet you want me to be going, you know what? You don't understand what women go through and all the medication, and she didn't get support. Now, you know what? They failed her. You want me to do that?
What you just said was absolutely disgusting.
Thank you.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Not me defending the lady who unalived 3 of her kids. But this guy, what he said is disgusting and should be ashamed of herself. Where's the self-awareness? You don't realize the average person hears you and say, you're crazy for supporting this chick. And I'm a woman and I still think you're crazy. But now you're disgusting
and you can hear that he's not. Okay?
Because it's true.
You clearly don't care, so pipe down.
I don't care. And by the way, men watching this, if you have a woman sat next to you on the sofa who is defending this murderer, you got to think deeply about this. I've seen weddings.
So we need to have some empathy.
Talk to your women and find out what are they thinking. They're defending this woman. It's
I don't think anybody's defending what she did, but you can have empathy for what she went through. I know many women that this has happened to.
Many?
They did not kill their children, but they also.
Oh, okay. See, now there you go. That shows that this right here is unique. Now, see, you notice she had to slip that in. I know many women who this has happened to, although they didn't kill their children. But that should let you know. This lady is unique. There's no excuse for what she did. Many women might go through a little depression, but they don't do what she did. And here she is going to try to slide that in. I know many women who've gone through this, but they didn't kill their kids, though. And so now she's going to get mad and run off the set.
But you failed to
they should be commended.
Be quiet, please. I've had it with you.
Woman.
Oh my God.
And
They
your
should be commended. They didn't kill their
misogyny.
children.
You're a misogynist.
I can't.
See? That's why you can never date a liberal woman. A feminist, I don't see how they get men. I'm done with it. Every time you resist them, every time you debate with them, it's misogyny. Shut up. I'm talking. And then you get this one. Yeah, she says she would never date a man, ever, y'all, who wouldn't support Lindsay. Now, let's see how this works out for her, because see, she thinks she's hot right here.
Vetting process for if I want to date a man. First date question I'm always going to be asking him is, do you think that Lindsay Clancy should go to jail for what she did?
Yes.
And if that man says yes, I'm getting up and walking out right then and there. I cannot spend the rest of my life with someone who thinks that that woman is guilty and deserves jail. Lindsay.
Wait a minute. You wouldn't have to get up and walk out, because soon as you let him know you support her, he would be getting up and walking out. Unbelievable. She's that arrogant. That's her litmus test. Trust me. That's a good thing. You're like, thank you for letting me know you're crazy. I'm out of here. And then this one again.
Lindsay Clancy is obviously not guilty.
A breakup.
So let's hear what's happening with these guys, and then we're getting out of here. So this is what rational guys are doing around the country. This is our litmus test.
Has occurred due to the Lindsay Clancy trial, and we're going to discuss it.
So last night I'm scrolling, and I come across a post from Mr. Corns, and I'm going to make sure his handle on TikTok is up here. And this is what that post contained.
Okay.
And this is the text message from this post between his friend and his friend's now former girlfriend. The first text says, "So you're really breaking up with me over a fucking opinion?"
Yeah.
Second text, "I'm not breaking up with you over an opinion. I'm breaking up with you because that opinion showed me a fundamental difference in our values. I can have compassion for someone struggling mentally without excusing what happened to those children. If I'm choosing someone to potentially be the mother of my kids, I need to trust their judgment completely, especially when it comes to protecting them. What you said created a doubt in me that I can't ignore or gamble my future children on." Okay, time for the think piece. I do not see anything wrong with this. At all. In any way. I really don't. Okay, I think that this is the same as the fundamental differences in opinions that we've discussed with, like, political ideologies or religion. It is perfectly fine for other people to have different opinions, different perceptions of the world, different whatever, and it is okay for you to, in response, say, "This is not what I want for my life. I'm not okay with this, and I think it's best that we part ways."
Hi, so
Bam! I mean, there it is. Guys with common sense, if you hear your girl say that, if y'all never talked about politics or nothing, you don't even know she's that radical or, you know, she's that type of feminist, and you hear her supporting that, that's called a red flag. That's not one of those things you overlook and downplay and say, it's a one-off. That will come back to bite you. If you, for whatever reason, interpret this situation like that, and I'm saying, I'm considering you to be somebody I want to spend the rest of my life with, and we have kids. That's a problem. And then this lady wraps it all up.
I've been seeing examples of this all day, and I could not be happier. It has restored my faith in humanity. Apparently, there are men, tons of men, who are making posts, who are sharing text messages of them breaking up with their partners or girlfriends for supporting Lindsay Clancy.
Yeah.
I could not be happier for these men. I fully applaud them. And I could not be happier for these women who are on the receiving end, because they need to know that this is not a flex.
It's not a flex. Yeah, she's happy for these women. And I bet you they're shocked when the dude say, you actually support that? You know what? We can't make it. What? Hun, where are you going? What? Why are you saying this? Because you just supported something so crazy that I got to question everything else about humanity. You're shocked? You're shocked that I don't want to be with somebody who supports a lady who just unalived 3 of her kids? You're shocked about that? Continue, smart lady.
Hi, real men don't love this. Real men don't love women who think that it might be reasonable to take 3 children into a basement and strangle them with exercise bands. Nope. Real men don't like this feminist bullshit.
Nope.
Real men don't love this.
Nope.
I've been trying to tell you guys for a while.
Tell them.
This is why you get the guys that just play video games all day and that don't really support you or care about you.
Or wearing a man bun all the time, shotgun holes in his ears, bull ring in his nose, open-toe sandals, hair dyed, and he's out there with you every Saturday protesting and stuff. Where are we going this weekend, hun? What's the new latest feminist issue we have to? And I had to say, I declare myself as a male feminist. That's the kind of guy you'll end up with. But oftentimes, these chicks don't want those type of guys. But you're not going to get a real man because he's going, I'm not going to no protest for this stupid stuff. Do you realize what she did? And you're mad at men? You're up here blaming the husband? Are you kidding me? You're crazy.
It's because you act like this.
Yep.
Now, I know this is crazy, but stay with me.
Stay with me.
Real men want women that they can look at and say, I can have kids with her. I can trust her to be a good mom. Bam. They don't want a bunch of douches standing outside of a Massachusetts courtroom with hearts and pink shirts and videos that they post that say, same, Lindsay. That is not proving to a man that you are stable, that you are mature enough to be a wife and a mother. But thank you for showing these men who you really are so they can leave your ass and find worthwhile partners.
Bam! Well said, lady. All these women are doing is letting everybody know I'm one of the crazy ones. If I'm riding by that courthouse, I don't care if you look like Vanessa Williams. I don't care if you look like Ola Ray. I don't care if you look like Vanity or Apollonia. I don't care if you look like Farrah Fawcett's Majors or Bo Derek when she had the long braids. I don't care if you look like that. If I see you out there, we with you, Lindsay. I'm going to ride on by. I'm going to blow smoke. There it is. I'm like, ooh, what the heck did she got? Oh, no, heck's not. That's what you're going to get. And that's what these women are going to get. Until these radical behind liberal feminist women realize that real men don't want that. No real man wants to even date a feminist. If you're that feministic where you are constantly talking about how oppressed women are, do you think I want to hear that all the time? If you're always looking for some movement to jump on board with or some excuse of why stuff is so unequal, you think I want to hear that all the time? That's why conservative women look great. They look great. They're smart, they're intelligent, they got common sense, they have rational responses and reactions. I mean, it's amazing the difference. Before this all was revealed, a lot of people didn't realize the difference. But once you recognize it, that's one of your litmus tests. Like, how do you think? How do you interpret the world? If you are a liberal, that says a lot about how you interpret the world, how you process things. If you're supporting some of this crazy nonsense, do you think we could work that out? You think that won't eventually bump heads? Because liberals, feminists, radicals, they don't have any type of give. It's constantly like that chick at that wedding. You don't understand because you're a man and a woman and this and that. And you're going to see. This is where we would end up every single day. You would wake up trying to get me to support some crazy cause. And we'll see differences. And then you'll be calling me a misogynist and all of that stuff. And eventually we're going to separate anyway. So how about this? How about we get a jump on it and be proactive? How about we call it a night? It was nice meeting you. But the fact that you just came out and told me you support this lets me know we don't need to move any further. We don't need to move any further. So I'm glad these women are doing this. But it also is sad to see where we have come to as a society where women who should be thinking about how would I feel if that happened to my children are out there supporting the woman who took her children's lives. It's unbelievable. It really shows where we're at when it comes down to the sign of the times, y'all. In France, a skinny man died of a big disease with a little name. By chance, his girlfriend came across a needle and soon she did the same. At home, there's 70-year-old boys and their ideal of fun is being in a gang called the Disciples High on Crack. Toting machine gun. Doom, doom, doom. That's where we're at, y'all. Sign. That's where it is, man. But we press on. We press on. So thanks for kicking it with me. I know I went long. I had those two major issues to cover, but you guys are soldiers. Hung in there with me. So on the way out, if you haven't, hit the like button, share my videos, follow me on all the other social media platforms. Somebody say you're amazing. Thank you. You all are too. Also, you want to support the channel, which I definitely would appreciate it right about now in my transitioning. Definitely will appreciate it. You can do that. I got a Cash App. I got a PayPal link below each video. Also, subscribe to my alternative channel. And other than that, I shall be back tomorrow to make more sense out of nonsense. God bless. Take care. Oh, yeah. Signs. North got her hands around y'all, folks. I know you see the way we carry. Yeah. Take care.